Okay. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the All Star season of Vulnerability Time Season 4 with your host, Josias Abril. And with us, we have an All Star, Stephanie. She's back. Y'all wanted her. She's back.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Thank you. I feel so honored.
As you should. As you should. Okay. So, folks, this is the first ever time that we're doing like video camera recording. So we're gonna try this out. We love it. We're gonna figure it out. So let's hope that this all goes well. Um, okay, but other than that, so today, Stephanie, you wanted to title this episode, let's see, Detaching from the Spirit of Rejection. I don't know what that means. I'm excited to hear it. Um, but first, tell us what where you currently live and what is your major.
Sure. I currently live in Portland, Oregon, and I'm working on getting my master's in social work. I'll be done in about a year.
Yes. Yes, we're almost there. We're almost there. Yay.
Or-
Oh, I'm thinking I'm gonna get my PhD in social
You
work.
should. Why not?
Yeah,
Do it. Go
I'm
all the
gonna.
way.
And I gotta email Bowen to write me a recommendation letter.
Woo!
Yes, I
We
gotta
would
email
love
that
to.
man.
So
That's my
sweet.
man. That man is my man. He just doesn't know it. Okay, so I don't even know what detaching from the spirit of rejection. I don't even know where you're about to go with this. I'm excited. So I'm gonna let you take over. Stephanie, why that title?
Right. So I can go a few different ways with this. But first, what I wanted to say is when you asked me what I wanted to talk about today on this episode, what I told you was I wanted to talk about suicidal ideation.
Yes.
And, I wanted to talk about personal experiences with that and where that has led me. And I don't know, I was trying to come up with a title for this episode. And for some reason, detaching from the spirit of rejection was what came up for me. And that is a phrase that I once had a mentor tell me, and it really resonated with me. It was her way of acknowledging what I was experiencing. And to put this into context better, so I am a little bit religious. I'm definitely spiritual, but I also believe in religion, and I know not everybody does. So I
Mhm.
don't want to disqualify anybody that doesn't have religious beliefs or doesn't
Right.
believe in a higher power or anything like that. But I mean, the way that it relates to me is, I have a higher power today, and I call that higher power God. And because
Yeah.
I believe in a higher power, I also believe that there's like a lower power because I believe that there's balance in the world. There's good and there's evil if you want to look at it like that,
Yeah, the law of
positive or
polarity.
negative.
Hmm.
There are vibrations and energy in this world that want to take you, higher, want to lift you up, want to inspire you, and there are energies and forces in this world that want to oppress you
Hmm.
and keep you stuck and tell
Right.
you that you're not good enough. And the way
Mm.
I look at it from like a spiritual perspective is that there's like this energy, this dark energy that wants me to reject myself, that wants me to reject my purpose. Because if I'm living in my purpose, I'm capable of helping other people,
Hmm.
which is obviously like,
Yeah.
helping the greater good, which is like the opposite of what, some sort of lower power would want. So,
Yeah.
we've named this spirit the spirit of rejection, which is really
Hmm.
like a negative spirit. You can think of it in like a metaphorical way too.
Yeah.
I just look at it like, anything negative, those intrusive negative voices that I have, anything that, tells me that I'm hopeless, that I'm not good enough, that I'm not going to be successful in my life,
Mm.
that I don't deserve love, that my partner's going to leave me, that, I'm
Yeah.
not attractive enough or whatever it is, in those moments when I'm believing those lies,
Yeah.
because the evidence has shown me otherwise, I am attaching to this thing called the spirit of rejection. I am rejecting myself, which makes me unable to show up, and be present in
Mm.
the most effective way.
Right.
Um, so basically, like an easy way to explain it too is just like self rejection, especially for
Yeah.
people that don't want to go spiritual with it. I'm just
Yeah.
super spiritual, but like it's basically self rejection, rejecting
Hmm.
yourself, not
Yeah.
loving yourself. It's the opposite of self love.
Mm.
And I feel like suicidal ideation can be a reflection of that. I feel like when I'm in a place where I'm willing to end my own life or I'm thinking about it pretty deeply or intensely, I'm definitely rejecting myself.
Yeah.
That's not an act of self love.
Yeah.
To kill myself or to desire to kill myself, that is not a loving act.
Right.
But not shaming myself for that. I'm human and I also believe in chemical imbalances and I believe, in the way
Wait,
trauma,
say that part again. You believe in what?
chemical imbalances,
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know,
It's a
I
really
do. I
cool.
believe, that some people don't have as much serotonin and some people have
Right.
damaged dopamine receptors. And, I believe in dysregulated nervous systems as a result of
Yeah.
trauma. And I believe that some people are more sensitive to stimuli in the environment and
Mm-hmm.
respond to different situations differently.
Right.
There's
Because the science says it. The biology and the psychology does say that.
exactly. And
Yeah,
there's just so
it
many
does.
examples of that in everyday life. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why, I wish for a world where we are all more understanding of each other's struggles and triggers,
Mm-hmm.
um, and we can just show up with empathy and patience and tolerance for
Mm.
other people because we're all struggling in different ways and it looks different from person to person.
Yeah, struggle manifests in different ways.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because some people that experience depression never have suicidal thoughts.
Right. Yeah, that blows my mind. I remember I researched that, because that seems like a, I don't want to say stereotype, but a common misconception is that, people that are everyone that's depressed is suicidal, but that's actually not the case.
Right.
For everyone. That blew my mind when I researched that like years ago. But sorry, continue. I just thought that was really interesting that you brought that up.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't know the research with it, but like I wonder what the correlation is between people with depression who have suicidal thoughts and like the people with depression without suicidal thoughts. Like,
Right.
is it something in their brain that creates those
Mm.
thoughts, or is it maybe like family history? Like, I'm really curious as to you know what makes
What
someone
that
more
link
likely.
is.
Yeah, what makes someone more likely to have those thoughts? I mean, I don't
Mm.
know for sure, and I'm sure there's research out there. Um,
Right.
looking for an answer within that. But there's always so many different factors of what could be
Yeah.
actually going on.
Yeah, it's so
Um,
complex. Mm-hmm.
it is. And, I know a lot of people talk about suicidal thoughts and,
Mm.
and I think that's good. I think that it takes some of the power out of it when people are able to, be
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable and share in any space, intimate, public, and say, you know what, I'm doing the best I can in my life, and I've been working on healing for a long time,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
um, and I still get suicidal thoughts. Like my
Right.
dating journey started when I was 14, and
Oh my God. Oh wow, twins.
yeah, I,
Twins.
I started, having symptoms of a lot of different mental health conditions really young, and I had to start the healing really young. And granted, like it didn't stick right away for me. I
Mm-hmm.
was still exposed to like the medical models and medication and therapy and all of that from like a super young age, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's been a journey. Like I'm 33 now, and you
I
know,
tell them you don't look it. I remember I said it on the last episode, and
yeah,
I was like, season
thank
4,
you.
we're gonna be doing video,
I
and
know.
you don't look it. 33. You don't look it. You're gonna
Thank
be
you.
getting. If you're 33 now, you're gonna be getting ID'd for the next 20 years.
Thank you so much. That means extra too because I'm not even wearing makeup right now. And I was like, how's the lighting? I've
Yeah.
been on this path, living out west where like I'm into the natural thing and I'm like growing out my natural hair color and not wearing makeup and I'm just like
Yeah.
embracing it and it's been fabulous.
Gorgeous.
Thank you. Um, but but anyway, so yeah, just being able to say like, I'm 33 and like a few days ago, right, I had some like suicidal thoughts come up and like I'm in a great place in my life, and it's like, what is that, And I think it could be different things. I mean, I still
Hmm.
think that when I get to a place where I feel really hopeless, or for me, I have a hard time with transitions, right? So it's like
Mm.
I'm possibly going to be moving very soon out of this apartment that I've been living in for a while, and I'm really comfortable here. But my partner and I have been talking about taking things to the next level and
Hmm.
moving in to like a house together, renting a house together.
Hmm. Still in Portland?
Yeah, or like
Okay.
the nearby areas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I just have like a lot of natural fear around that, right? And I think like that's a big like transition for a couple of reasons, because I'm going to be coexisting with a partner, and also because I'm leaving a space that I'm comfortable in, a safe space.
Mm.
Moving has
Mm.
been like notoriously really hard for me,
Right.
and I don't know, just so any kind of life transitions can kind of bring up like feelings of like hopelessness, like, what if we don't find the right place, or
Mm.
what if I hate it, and that's one thing
Right.
that like I'm really trying to work on in my personal life is because of all the trauma that I've been through and my natural desire to want to protect myself.
Yeah.
Um, my first thought is negative, and I do so much fucking work, excuse my language, to
Oh, vulnerability time. We cuss.
what's that?
I said it's vulnerability time. We cussed.
Okay, cool. Um, I have to do so much work to be like, oh, okay, the first thought is wrong or the first thought is negative. Let's reframe this. Let's like change the
Mhm.
narrative in my head because my first reaction is, oh my god, I'm gonna move in with my partner and like, what if I hate it? What if it's really stressful? What if I don't have enough space? What if like something happens and one of us can't afford the rent and how's the other one gonna like make up for it? Like I have like all these fears as a result of my brain wanting to like protect myself, because I want to be one step ahead of every potential problem.
Yeah.
And I do that with everything. Like, what if this happens? I want this, and this to be in place to protect myself.
Right.
But like, something's got to give. I'm at a place in my life where like I just don't want to live in fear anymore. And like I go through phases. I'm not like always like this. It's not always this like dramatic, right? But like I don't know, get a perfect storm of factors in my life and it's like all of a sudden I'm back in this like fear space and it does hurt my relationships. It hurts my relationship with myself. It hurts my
Mhm.
commitments. It hurts my relationship with my partner and my friends. And I'm just not able to show up in my life like I want to. So I've had to
Right.
learn how to like let go of this fear that I hold on to. So I'm
Mhm.
actually curious what your experiences have been like with that. Like, how do you actively let go of fear in your life? The fear that keeps you from, having healthy relationships. The fear that keeps you from, pursuing your goals and dreams. What do you do?
So it gets to the point where one, I talked to Holy Spirit about it, but I felt like the reason why I'm able to um, fight the fears is because I've been able to face the fears and see that, on the other side of it, it's not always bad. Sometimes it's like the greatest decision in the world. And then also, it also got to a point where I was just so exhausted of my fears. I just was so exhausted that I don't know, like you said, something had to give. Something had to give. And so it got to a point of I was just exhausted of fears to where I had no other choice but to surrender. Just to surrender whatever, so that's where it got me because it took me a while. For example, like this whole podcast, it was in my mind for like a year to a year and a half before I actually started putting the steps for the next episode. I mean, for the first episode. Yeah, I mean, I got to the point of exhaustion, and then also there's that statement that my higher power taught me was that you don't know something until you know something. So it's just like I don't want to be, it's exhausting, at least for me, to be in that limbo of, oh, I don't know. I don't know if it's a yes or a no. I don't know. And that's just stressful. I rather it, at least for me, I just am at a point where I'm just like, it's too much energy to not know something. It's it's way less energy to finally have a solid answer and just put that fear at rest. And mind you, for me, at least right now in my life and in my healing journey, um I I say put my fears at rest and I say put my insecurities at rest and I really mean the word rest because I had to recognize that okay, these insecurities and these fears, they are just trying to protect me in some way shape or form. However, they don't always know how to do it in the best ways. So, um I don't, at least for me personally, I recently shifted my vocabulary from saying defeated my fears, to laying my fears at rest because some of those fears turned into demons, but every demon used to be an angel, and I just want to love that demon back to an angel and then put it to rest.
Wow, I've never looked at it like that.
Me either until a week ago.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. And something like I really admire about you is I feel like you have courage throughout it all. Like what I've seen is even though you've experienced fear and uncertainty, not knowing what to do, maybe you take action. You do. And I
Mhm.
saw that when you realized that PSU wasn't the right, spot for you. And, you know, you left. That's a courageous decision to, leave and like
It
try
was
to figure
hard.
something else out for yourself.
Hmm.
Because like I know for myself sometimes like it's easier for me to like stay in situations that are uncomfortable or maybe don't feel super right because
Yeah.
like I am worried that like what I do might not be like the better option or whatever. So I'll stay somewhere
Right.
that I'm like not super happy. But because I've also had situations where I stay and then things get better, and then
Hmm.
it's like, okay, this is fine. So it's like I don't know. I get so concerned in like trying to figure out what is the right thing to do. Like I've had jobs
Bingo.
too that like jobs that I really hated and like I left and then after I left it was like, oh my god, this is the best decision I've ever made. You know, I'm out of this toxic environment and I'm way
Yeah.
happier and way healthier. And like there's an example of when, you know, you take the action and you leave and everything's okay. And then I've had jobs where it was like, you know, I really hated the job, I wanted to stay, but then I didn't want to stay, but then I decided to stay for whatever the reason was, and then it got better and I
Mm.
grew, and like I gained more skills and more confidence and
Yeah.
ended up really liking the job, you know? So
Hmm.
I feel like it could go either way. So I've been really trying to challenge this perspective I have of like there's a right and a wrong thing to do in
Hmm.
life. And like
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe whatever action we take is going to have its own unique set of challenges and
Right.
decisions we have to make along the way. But like maybe it'll all lead to something great, even if it's a
Hmm.
lesson or, you know,
Yeah.
new skills or just new things we learn about ourselves.
I think you did great. I think here's a perspective. I don't know if this is going to make sense, but you know, when you look back at those times, um try at least a couple times try looking at it and not being, oh, this is the right or wrong decision, but this was the best
Mm.
decision. Because, you know, there's also like, oh, the right decision, and then there's also the best decision for you in that moment. You know, so try maybe I don't know, that's just a recommendation. It's not that easy. It helped me, but it's not that easy to have that, you know, to think about it like that. But I'm trying to implement that now in my life rather than just, you know, looking back and saying that. You know, it's giving me grace on myself for back then. But yeah, because I'm just like, I don't know. Do I stay? Do I leave? Because it's just like I've done that too, where it's just like I stayed and it got better, and then sometimes I stayed and it got worse and I got out of there. You know, so it's just like I don't know which one was the right or wrong to do. Maybe it's just the best decision for me, and to stay a little bit long. I don't know. I don't know. It's really confusing, but that helped me having that third option of there's the I don't want to make the wrong decision. I want to make the right decision. And then I'm also like, okay, overall, I want to make the best decision for me.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's not easy for a lot of people in a lot of situations to just know what the best decision is.
Right, so hard.
I think sometimes just making decisions can be more difficult than we think.
Hmm.
You know, there's sometimes indecision, there's sometimes fear, sometimes like it's just not clear what the right path is. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like I'm pretty intuitive, but sometimes that gets blocked for whatever reason, and
Yeah.
I really can't tell what, you know, the best decision for me is. And I do think in those times it is important to kind of wait, you know, and sit and,
Hmm.
you know, meditate on it or connect with higher power or whatever, write
Hmm.
about it, talk to some friends about it. Um, you know, because yeah, if you don't know, you don't know, and that's okay. And I think for me,
Yeah, it's okay.
it's okay. I think like really giving myself grace and tolerance and patience and like, you know, giving myself the love to like take time instead of looking at things from this like fear mentality of like time is running out and I'm wasting my time, which trust me, I get. And that like I
Hmm.
feel that pressure in a lot of areas of my life where it's like, oh man, I don't want this person to waste my time and I don't want to be wasting my time at this job making this amount of money and I don't want to be wasting my time and like, you know,
Hmm.
because you can't get time back. So like I get that. But
Right.
I don't know. I don't want to live in like that stressed out space of like, like I don't want to waste time. So I'm panicking and like being super,
Right.
you know, cautious. Like if I
Yeah.
need to take time to like think things out, like I
Hmm.
might make a better decision or, you know, I don't know. I don't want to like shame myself, like,
Yeah.
you know, and stress myself out because then I'm not like enjoying my life. And like if anything is like important to me at this point in my life, it's that with the time that I do have left on earth, like I
Hmm.
want to be in a space where like I'm at peace and I love myself and I'm enjoying my life more. Like that
Yeah.
is a goal for me to like enjoy life more because there was
More.
so much of my life that like I just dreaded and I was stressed and I didn't want to be alive and like I just, you know, and I don't want
We're
to,
twins.
right?
We are twins.
So
Preach
I
it.
just, you know, I hate to be like, I just want to be happy. But like, because I know that that's like such an unrealistic goal and I'm such an
Hmm.
anti good vibes only person. But
Right.
like,
Right.
I think it's okay to also be like, you know, for somebody that's lived so much of their life in depression that
Yeah.
like to do things that make me happy more
Yeah.
often is healthy. And then to
Very.
also like embrace the full spectrum of emotions and not like medicate through the other emotions to just be with
Hmm.
them, that's also healthy. But yeah, I mean, I think enjoying your life is important. And I think that that is also an antidote for me when it comes to suicidal thoughts and suicidal ideation, because when I'm in that space, I don't think life is fun. I don't feel connected to like
Hmm.
my hobbies or my friends or my relationships, and I'm
Yeah.
in this like space where I really feel like there's no point in living. Like living is
Hmm.
more of a drag than it is like an enjoyment. But if I'm filling my time and my calendar, in between work and the responsibilities of life with things to look forward to and things that like fill me up and help me experience a sense of joy,
Yeah.
I am going to have less suicidal thoughts because I'm looking
Right.
forward to things. I think, that has been something that I've noticed and learned as like a tool for myself is like, if I have like, oh, a trip or a concert or something like in my calendar, like, a couple weeks out or a month out, I'm like, okay, I'm really looking forward to going to this concert next month. Like that gives
Yeah.
me just an extra like oomph of like, okay, like
Yeah. I
I
like
can get,
that.
yeah, I can get through like all the work I have to do the next few weeks, or I can get through all like the really early mornings that I dread, or I can get through,
Hmm.
whatever it is that might be difficult in front of me because I have something to look forward to.
Right.
Yeah. So,
I like that. I like that. I've been saying that for like the past month, and I'm just like I found myself saying like more I want to enjoy life um eventually, cuz and it's like I also say like, I want to be happy and stuff like that. But adding that I want to enjoy life in my affirmations,
mm,
I think that's very helpful. Because yeah, I don't know. I just think that's very helpful because at least for me, when I say enjoy and when I say happy, I'm recognizing that, not everything's going to be pitch perfect,
right,
you know, but it's just like it can look a lot better than it did for these last 10 years. You know what I mean? Life can get so much better to the point where I do enjoy it and I am happy as opposed to 5 years ago, as opposed to what my yesterday was. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You saying that just makes me want to think more on it.
mm,
We
yeah,
love that. We love a good think.
food for thought.
We love it.
Um, and also, wait, I had something come up. Oh no, I'm losing it. It'll come back. I had a thought
So,
on like an
suicidal
antidote
thoughts.
for, yeah, like suicidal ideation.
Hmm.
So, what else helps you when you get in that space?
Well, I just literally just vented out to my really, really, really close friends. I vented out. Sometimes I just yell at God. That is all that I do. Or I get on the phone with them and I just talk about just stuff. But most of the time I talk about what I'm like going through and I just get all those thoughts out. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to allow them to stay in the darkness and do whatever they want to me. Those
Right.
thoughts. I don't. So I'm like, I'd rather bring them to the light because they have a better chance at being laid to rest in the light than in the dark, So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
That's what
agree.
I do. What do you do?
I do. And well, I need to talk about it usually. I have to tell somebody,
Hmm.
and if I don't feel comfortable telling somebody in my support network or my partner or, whoever, I'm a big fan of the suicide prevention hotline. I think those people are wonderful. And I've called that number several times over the years.
Hmm.
Um, and
How
they're
does that
getting,
work? Like, how does that work? What does that process look like for those of us, and I am us, who are kind of scared to call that because I don't like, yeah. How does
I
that
mean,
work?
I've hung up before right away, like,
Yeah.
so it's, you might get this, but like, sometimes if it's a man that they pair me with,
Yeah.
that as like I don't know, the advocate that I am going to be talking to, like I'll hang up right away instead of
Yeah.
being like, hey, put me with a woman. Like I get scared and I just hang up.
Yeah.
Um, but I've been paired with some really awesome people over the years. I think you can just call 988 now. It's
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
just call 988 and you'll get hooked up to the national hotline. You can share as much or as little as you want. I usually look at it like, okay, I'm never going to see this person or talk to them again. So
Hmm.
I'll tell them all the crazy stuff that I'm thinking
Right.
and usually cry a lot and see what they have to say. And lately, what I've been getting is people that are like providing a lot of resources, which I think is really cool. Like the last time I called, I talked a lot about like feelings of disconnection and loneliness, and they ended up texting me like a bunch of resources for
Mm.
communities I could get involved with in my area, which was really helpful. And whether I do something or not, that resources is up to me. But the fact that there are people out there providing the resources,
Right.
I think is really awesome. And it's just nice to like have someone that, is listening to what you have to
Mm-hmm.
say and like feeling like you can say whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing because I feel like I definitely want to be heard. But also, it's really important for me to like live in this space of truth and honesty when I'm experiencing suicidal thoughts because I will lie to myself and
Mm.
I will believe my fucked up thoughts and believe things that my mind is telling me, even when like the evidence is literally telling me otherwise.
Yeah.
Like, I will, yeah, like I'll believe the lies of my mind. Like, for example, when I'm suicidal, like I will believe that I have no friends, which is not true at all. I have plans with people like, you know, tomorrow and throughout the week. And
Yeah.
like I have tons of friends I can call if I need to, right? But like
Yeah.
when I'm suicidal, I'm like, I have no friends.
Yeah.
Just like
That despair.
it's like there's this voice that like lies to me and tells me
Yeah.
that like I'm all alone, right? So there's that. And then, for example, the voice will, or, the suicidal thoughts will be linked to like this idea that I have that like I'm not lovable or whatever. But like I'm in a relationship right now, and we've been through a lot together. And this person is very loving towards me, and this person is very like validating when I need them to be.
Yeah.
And like if I went to them and talked about all my feelings, they would be like, I love you and I want to be with you. And I'm certain of that, right?
Yeah.
But like in my head, I have these stories of like, oh, this person is gonna like leave me for someone else, or like, whatever it is, whatever the flavor of the suicidal episode is, right? Like
Yeah.
it'll tell me some lie, and I have to like compare those lies to like the truth. And I think that that's like really important when I'm in that space. And that's
Mm.
why talking to safe people can help. Is like if I'm like, okay, my mind is telling me this, like, what
Mhm.
is the truth? What is actually going on here? And then they
Right.
can like be like, no, like this is the truth, is like, I am your friend and I love you and I care about you and your mind is lying to you or whatever. Um,
Mm. Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, I think my dog is here to say hello too. He
I
just,
know, right? I was just like, oh, so cute.
hello. He just
So
woke
cute.
up. Um, so yeah, just truth, I think. And I think if like the narrative in my head is all doom and gloom, like that is a pretty good like red flag that
Yeah.
it's not all honest, because like all
Mm.
of life isn't that. Life is like a balance of like negative and positive. So
Mm. Mm.
I don't know.
That's a red flag that it's dishonest. I needed to hear that. Interesting. I also hate the feeling that comes with those thoughts.
Mm,
And sometimes recently I just get in that mode where I'm just like, I feel like I'm not afraid in the current moment. Not, I don't even want to use the word afraid because it's not really that word. Concerned. In the current moment, I'm more so concerned like, will I recover the next time?
mm.
Or will I, one day just be donezo? You
Yeah,
know?
I get that too, and I think it's really important to live in the moment and live in the now. I've been trying to practice that
Yeah.
more. That's like the hardest
That's
for
so
me
hard. It's so hard
in
for me.
in relationships too, because I am somebody that like, I think about like longevity and forever, and like I'm super like romantic, and like, like have these fantasies of like getting married and like having a family and all that kind of stuff. So for me, that I get really triggered in romantic relationships, because if conflict comes up, or there's fears or concerns or doubts, or whatever it is, and I get triggered or activated, like I feel like I might be losing this idea of forever. Like I'm
Hmm.
so attached to the idea of forever,
Yes.
that like sometimes I can't enjoy the present moment. But truly, I am the happiest when I'm in any situation, especially a relationship, and I'm like, I'm enjoying this person right now, regardless of if we end up together forever or whatever. Like I'm having so much fun with them right now,
Yeah.
and we're doing so many cool things right now, and I love them for who they are today, right now, and that is beautiful and important. And like letting go of like we have to be together for me to like feel okay. But
Yeah.
like, I just when I want something, I want it so bad, and I get like so disappointed. Like if it
Yeah.
doesn't turn out the way I want it, right? Or think I want it. So yeah, just like living in the moment of like, I don't know what the future holds. I can't control the future. So I'm just gonna enjoy whatever's in front of me right now today.
Hmm.
Who's in my life today? You know?
Mm. That's an interesting point that you bring up because one, that is definitely something that I am struggling with, um, and really realizing that's one of the next areas that I want to tackle when I go back to therapy. Um, it's so hard for me to, be in the now and not be looking forward to the future, not be so longevity heavy mindset. And never truly knew why. Well, I didn't know what the root of it was. There we go. I knew the branches, I knew the tree trunk, but I never knew the root of it. Like, um and I'm using a tree as, symbolic, um and as like metaphorically, because it's like, if you really want to kill a tree, you got to go for the root. I was just like, you can take off the leaves, you can cut off branches, it's going to grow back. They're gonna go back. But if you really want to like tackle the issue, you got to get to the root of it. And so that's the thing. I think the root of my longevity type of thinking, and why it's so hard for me, why I'm so disconnected from the now, is because of control. Because and not controlling people, just controlling like aspects of my life. Because I Holy Spirit taught me recently that, why I feel like I have to have so much control over things happening to me, is because once upon a time, when I wasn't in control growing up, the worst stuff happened to me. As a kid, just the worst stuff happened. So it's just like, it seemed like controlling things was my saving grace. And now that's no longer serving me. But back then it served me, but it's no longer serving me now. This need to control um aspects happening in my life, because it's getting to the point where it is exhausting me more and more and more. And I can just tell, because when it comes to really deep-seated root issues with me, or areas with me, it's gonna have to come to a point where I get completely exhausted for me to surrender. And I don't like getting to that point, but once I'm at that point, obviously, yay, that's when I like seem to like flourish from it, and seem to start to feel better in the healing, because healing can hurt sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's gonna, just like we mentioned fear earlier, it's gonna get to a point where I'm just like, I'm gonna be exhausted of the control, and I have no choice but to surrender. I'm like, I'm tired of this. I'm not there yet. I'm not near there, but I'm getting there. And the road there, it's not a fun road. It doesn't feel good. There we go. How about that? Um, but once I hit that point, it's literally only up from there. That's how it works, with at least with me, when it comes to that. So
I agree with that. And I
I love
don't
it.
think healing or growing is like comfortable at all. Like I
Right.
actually think it's like super painful. And I don't know, I guess when I think of like, I don't know, maybe other people think like this too. And I hope people can relate. But when I think, oh, I'm going to heal from this issue and I'm going to get better because I'm really sick because of whatever, say my attachment issues, or I'm really sick because of these like negative behaviors that I have,
Right. Mm-hmm.
like when I get into the process where I'm healing, like the recovery journey is hard and painful and ugly, and I'm getting triggered and I'm activated and I'm uncomfortable and like other stuff is coming up. And like I don't think that like people realize that. Sometimes we're like, oh, I'm just gonna like try to like heal and become healthier.
Right.
And like they don't realize like how much work it is.
Right. It
And
like has
like
those ugly moments, it has those beautiful moments. Sometimes it feels
right,
great, sometimes it does not.
sometimes it gets worse before it gets better. And
Yeah.
like knowing that can be like, oh shit, okay, like I'm not getting like sicker. Like sometimes when you're healing, like things feel worse for a little bit and then you start to like break through it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's like, I think that that's important for me to know and acknowledge and share, because like I was a runner for a long time, not like physically, but like I ran from my problems.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, when a situation gets hard or whatever, like I rather just remove myself from the situation or the relationship and like start new somewhere else. It was like that would be easier to like, instead of mending whatever's going on or working through it, like I'll just like burn this to the ground and like start fresh somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but with
Same.
when I keep doing that, like I'm never building like a legacy for my, I'm never building like, anything that lasts, which is like the opposite of what I want, because what I truly want is like things that last, and things that carry with me through life that I can build on. But like if I keep burning things before I ever build like a sturdy foundation, like I'm not like growing, anything in my
Wow.
development.
I
So
need to talk to you about something
sure.
later. I'm gonna talk
Oh,
to you
okay.
about something later.
Yeah. No.
I'd love
Mhm.
to know your input on something, because you are definitely just throwing the wisdom right now, and I'm like, I'm loving it. And I was like, yeah, I gotta talk to you about something.
Yeah.
Talk to you about
Totally
something.
down.
Mm.
So
I'm sorry. I'm just trying not to laugh, because it's just like, I know I needed to hear that. Like, I just know I needed to hear that. And I know that, like, my two really, really close friends, they're gonna listen to this and they're gonna be like, yep, that's what I was telling you
Wow.
yesterday, and I'm just like, oh, okay.
Well, I think that's how higher power in the universe works. I mean, I think
Yeah.
the
Yes.
messages you're meant to hear are like what's going to be repeated and echoed through a lot of different sources. I believe
Yep.
that when you're really like connected, you know.
That's what happens to me every single time.
Yeah.
It, like, will be repeated. Yeah, I'm gonna be talking to you about something. I'll probably call you
Yeah.
about it tomorrow, or I don't know. I'll text you first and
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll have like girl talk about it, cause something, cause yeah, cause right now I'm just like not a problem, and but then like you said, that longevity and that's what you really want. But if we keep like burning things, and yeah, I don't know, cause I completely agree. I completely agree. But for this situation, I'm just like it's I'm like, is it the right thing to do, and is it the best thing to do,
Mm.
and is it the wrong thing to do? I feel like I'm in that kind of boat. No, no, no. I don't even want to say boat. I want to be bougie. I'm in that yacht. I'm in that yacht where I'm just like, I feel like whatever decision I'm gonna make, it's gonna be the wrong one. Like I
Ooh,
have that fear. I have that
I know
fear.
that feeling so
Yes, I
much.
hate
I
it.
hate that feeling.
I
I
hate
get
it.
that all the time where I'm like, fuck, I feel like no matter what I do, like I'm gonna have some regret or I'm gonna wish I did the other thing. So then it
Right.
keeps me in this like place where I'm not taking any action.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why I want to stop. I'm not gonna stop voting, but I just want to start voting for everything other than president. I just feel like whatever I do, I'm gonna make the wrong decision. I want to just throw in the towel with voting, but then I'm just like, that is definitely a privilege to be able to vote.
Yeah, it is.
It's freedom, even though it's like freedom in a box though, because it's like our options are limited to really the limitless, reality and ideologies and stuff like that. But um, this type of capitalism only acknowledges two options.
Right.
That makes sense. Yeah. So it's still freedom within the limit. So it's
Right.
like, yeah, it's freedom. It's more freedom than like how they vote in North Korea. So,
Exactly.
and I am grateful for the, at least the freedom that we do have when it comes to that area. But the point of the matter is that is something that I've also been recently thinking about, and I'm just like, I don't even know if I want to vote next election. I will vote every other thing, which I always do as well. But I'm just like, I feel like regardless, I'm gonna make the wrong decision. So I'm just, I just, um, yeah. And I hope that doesn't come. I just don't. And I feel like as well that me not voting is gonna be the wrong decision as well. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna go for it because regardless, it seems like it's gonna be wrong regardless. So that's also a small motivation for me to still just continue to do something because I'm just like, you know, it, it, it might be wrong regardless. Even though it might not be. That's just what my thoughts are telling me. That's what my feelings are telling me. That's what I think a part of my control is telling me is that regardless, it's gonna be wrong. Regardless of what you do, it's gonna be wrong. It's like the one out of the three options, the one thing that you choose will be the wrong one. The other two will be right, and you'll find that out like way after. So I'm starting to realize that those are lies. Though it is also a protection for me, but I'm starting to realize that that isn't the reality all the time, and my actions say otherwise, but my thoughts, they don't say otherwise. It just looks like on the outside like my actions are, I made this decision, yay me, if it didn't work out, that's okay. Um, but what happens a lot behind the scenes is that thought process of, regardless, I'm gonna choose something wrong. It's
Yeah,
just
I
like,
do. I do.
yeah. So I don't know. What do you
But
think of that?
I mean, I think if you feel, I think the importance of like empowering yourself and reframing
Yeah.
that thought could be really helpful. Like you're making the best decision you can at this time with the knowledge that you have and the tools that you have at your feet, you know?
Can
And
you
that
say that
whatever,
again?
yeah, you're making the best decision you can at this time in your life with the knowledge that you have and the tools that you have at your feet. And that
Okay.
whatever decision, if you, especially, if you ask your higher power for help, please
Yeah.
guide me in making this decision. How is the decision going to be wrong?
Right.
And I say that as somebody that worries about making the right decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's some
like,
good
I don't know,
advice.
that just came to me as we were talking, and I was like, okay,
Hmm.
like I don't know. I feel like sometimes you just gotta like live and learn, and
Yes, yes, yes. And it's okay to fall and get back up again.
yeah,
It's
Yeah,
okay to take an L,
exactly.
aka take a learn, take a lesson. It's okay, and it goes back to like, and that brings me back to like, you don't know until you know. Like, it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to fall and then get back up. It's okay, and I say to get back up. Like, it is okay to fall. If you try, it is okay to fall. I gotta tell myself that.
Everybody does. I mean,
Yes.
and sometimes you'll see it coming and sometimes you won't, you know?
Yeah. I'm looking
So,
at the time. I know we gotta wrap up
oh yeah.
because we're on
I
a.
think I saw
I know, right? Darn it. Ah,
it's all
man.
good. I think we talked about suicidal thoughts a little bit. We were a
Oh
little
yeah,
on
I think we. And like I said, if there's any more things that you want to talk about, we can always do a part two. I'm serious. I mean, you're an all-star, so I mean, you're on this season regardless, so you can come back as many times as you want.
Oh,
On this
nice.
season. Yeah, seriously. Everyone appreciates hearing from you. Clearly, you only been on last season for like one episode, and it wasn't even that long ago that it was released, and you're already an all-star. So,
Thank you so much. I feel very flattered by that.
yes. Okay, since folks are listening and looking, okay, let's stare like at the camera's eye, Stephanie. Let's stare into the camera because I
Okay.
want people to know this. If you are listening right now, and no one has told you today that they love you, allow me to be the first and allow yourself to be the second. I love you. I like you. You are worthy. You are lovable. You have overcome 100% of your bad days. Why? Because you are still breathing. Bingo. Boom.
Amen.
From me and Stephanie.
Yes,
Woo!
absolutely.
Okay. Okay. I love you tons.
I love
Oh,
you
I'm
too.
gonna stop the recording, but then I'm gonna talk to you a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.